Hi guys, welcome to Marriage Exposed. I'm Dr. Roz.
And I'm your man Kil. We back for another week. We back at it. It's been a minute, but you know.
We're excited. Why
don't you tell them what we got?
We are also having our very first mixer here in the DC area. So if you are in the DMV, you are invited to Society Lounge in Silver Spring. The address is 8229 Georgia Avenue, Silver Spring side. And it's free cover, so you don't have to pay anything to get in. It's free parking in back, or you can valet for $5. And it's a very swank, nice place. You will love it. It's just real sexy. It's a very sexy...
That's what swank means?
Yeah, when I think about swank.
Alright, cool. Like you just said, it was a sexy spot.
Right? No.
When people thought it was a strip club or
right.
Okay.
And nobody would be on poles. But it's... There'll be drink specials, and it's happy hour. So it begins at 6. I'm sorry I didn't give you the time. It begins at 6. Again, it's at Society Lounge, Silver Spring, 8229 Georgia Avenue, Silver Spring side.
And what day?
Wow. 12/27. Wednesday.
Go.
No, not 12. 2/27. Sorry. Wednesday, the 27th, February 27th.
All right.
At 6 o'clock.
One of our first questions on tap for the day. We've got Dear Dr. Roz Kil. I've been with my fiance for 4 years, 3.5 years dating, half year engaged. Another day we got into an argument about me not wanting to take his last name. Before we go into this fight, let me give you some background information. Like Kil always says, people don't give enough of. I am one of 4 sisters, and my father recently passed away, and I'm the last sister to get married. The rest of my sisters have taken their husband's name, and since my father was an only child and had no boys, his family name will be gone once I marry if I take my husband's name, which brings me to why I don't want to take his last name. It's not because I don't love him or because I don't want to start a family with him, which is what he says it makes him feel like, but I want to keep my family name alive. He even told me that if I don't take his family name, that he doesn't know if he still wants to get married to me, which I believe is selfish on his part. I know about the whole scripture of leave your mother and father and cleave to your spouse, and I'm not trying to leave, and I'm trying not to leave my family and not cleave to him, but I want to keep my last name. By the way, we've also talked about hyphenating my last name with his, but neither one of us wants to do that either, which leads me to the question, what should I do?
Oh, this is so eerily similar. She's so similar to me. It's 4 of us, 4 girls.
It's 4 of y'all?
Yeah.
But your papa ain't died.
No, he's not dead, but he's the only child.
Oh, okay.
He has no boys, so nobody really,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's like mirroring my life. I had the same argument with my husband. But my reasons were partly that because I wanted to keep Acre in there at some point, just because I had been an Acre for 29 years. Like it was, I don't know, it was a big part of of who I am.
Right.
And more so, there were no boys. There was no one to carry on the last name. It's not like you can use Acre as a first name.
Right.
It's not like I could have named my child like Acre Black. That would have been crazy. It would have been like, what was your mother thinking? And then professionally, there were professional reasons why I needed to keep my name. Both of my degrees were in Acre, and it just would have been a whole lot to get it all transferred and taken care of. So we really settled on me using Acre as my middle name. And then I still hyphenated. I know. We went through this whole process. Yeah, like, so my husband was like, well, you can drop your middle name.
So what was your middle name before you got married?
Vanetta. I really don't like my middle name, but Vanetta.
So now your name is no longer Vanetta.
Well,
like you did a roots thing, like you ain't Toby no more. Like
I still do my signature is Rosalind V. Acre Black. So we still did the hyphenated thing, but I remember this being a huge argument with my husband, and he told me, this is like right after we got engaged, maybe about 3 months. He was like, you're not the person I thought you were if you're not going to take my name. I don't know if I want to marry you. Same scenario. And so I really had to get him to understand, like, it's not that I don't want to take your name. That's not the case. Because in his mind, he thought that our kids would have Acre Black as well. And I was like, I wouldn't do that. He was like, I don't want no kids that don't have the same last name as me or whatever. I said, no, I would never do that. I said, I just need mine for professional use. So I only use Acre Black professionally. Personally, I go by Black.
So you're just Roz Black? I never
Yeah.
knew that.
Yeah. So like,
Okay.
you know, personally with family and stuff,
Right.
I'm considered Roz Black, but professionally, Acre Black, only because my degrees are still in my name. So
Okay. So what's your advice for Shorty then?
my thing is that you have to get him. You may have to. You're gonna have to compromise. Maybe you drop your middle name and have your maiden name as your middle name. Lots of women do that. Lots of women do that. It's not uncommon. Women do that. So you got to make some sacrifices too, because it is crazy not to take your husband. Not crazy, but it does make the man feel some kind of way. And I couldn't understand why he was so ridiculous about, you know, me not taking his last name until he sat me down. He's like, listen, I'm putting my name on you. You represent me. You are who I have chosen. And I didn't really see it that way. I was just like, dude, it's just a name. I mean, you know, I didn't see it in his perspective. So maybe you need to go back to the table and ask your husband, you know, why is this so important to you? You know, because I didn't realize the significance of importance for my husband.
All right. And this is going to be one of the few days where I guess I play devil's advocate. Because for me, when I saw the question, you know, I was like, why do women take the last name? So I had to go do some research.
Okay.
I say at Marriage Exposed, we just don't talk off the top of our heads.
We do research.
We do some research. So, things that I came up with. The reasons for a bride taking the groom's name traditionally are for protection of family and wealth, designation of a new lifestyle and a life direction, and acknowledgement of God's presence and an endorsement of the marriage. So, why are you stuck?
I'm
You
not
look stuck.
No, I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
I'm impressed with you.
Yeah, I do this. Come
Yeah.
on. That's what I do.
I'm very impressed.
They said now the tradition part, since you're impressed, was about the protection of family wealth. And they basically said back in the 1800s that basically women, you know, y'all really wasn't worth much.
Right.
So getting married was almost the equivalent of like getting a PhD today. It was like if you could get married, then you were set.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I have this man to take care of me. And it was almost like you wanted to get rid of your old family name and come join. It's almost like getting down with a new crew. It's like, I want to get down with your crew because your crew is better than mine over here. So it was like, yeah, I want to take the family name. They were saying back in those days with, you know, women couldn't own things like land and property and stuff like that. So the only way for the woman in the family to be taken care of in the event of anything happening to the husband was for her to have the last name. So that was that. Now, for the designation of a new life direction, they were talking about the unity candle that some people light at the wedding. So for people who don't know, if you have a unity candle, it's basically like, you know, it's 3 candles. And the 2 outer candles, you know, are lit. And then the one in the middle is empty. Before you guys, you know, go through the whole, you know, I now pronounce you man and wife, the husband and the wife take each one of the candles and light the candle in the middle to kind of unify, is saying that we're one now. So it's kind of like those 2 outer candles are your family candles. And then you lighting it together is saying now we're moving forward to start our own life. And then the last one, kind of what Shorty touched on, the whole leave your mother and father and cleave to your husband. That's second Genesis 2:24. And basically what's saying is that he shall cleave unto his wife and they shall be one flesh is looked at as the woman taking the man's last name. Genesis basically sets the stage for God's recognition of joining a man and a woman as through the covenant of marriage. He invites her into his life. So the husband, I guess this goes back to the husband, you know, proposing, I'm asking you to come into my life. And it's basically saying she joins him rather than her joining him. And that tradition originates with Adam's rib, with God taking the rib out of Adam and making Eve. So now that you have all the biblical and everything else background of why, you know, to be honest, I don't know what to tell Shorty. Well, I know what I can tell you is welcome to marriage. And the world of marriage. Y'all gonna have to compromise.
Yeah, welcome to the world of trying to learn how to compromise.
Right. That's what it is. I feel your pain for the simple fact that looking at this stuff, I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I'm not a big tradition dude, you know what I mean? But I've always kind of been a buck the system type person. So when I'm looking at this stuff, and I almost feel like I feel Shorty's argument, because it's like, well, if we're starting a new life, well, let's start a whole new name then. Like, why do I have to take yours? You know what I mean? Like, if we are really starting a new life together, then let's start all over. Like, let's pick a new name and move forward like that. Yeah. Since we're starting a new life, you know, because it's kind of not fair, you know, to her. I guess, I mean, just for me, like I said, this is one of they'll probably disagree. I know you're shocked.
Very shocked.
You're shocked. But
speechless.
From doing the research, like without doing the research, I probably would have been like, you know, just, you know, suck it up. That's just the way it is. But from looking at it, like the traditions of it, I mean,
it feels like personal property.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it kind of feels like I own you. You ain't worth nothing. And maybe it's because I got a daughter now, so I'm more sympathetic to a lot of women issues now because of Naomi, and one day she's gonna have to not be a Kilpatrick anymore and things like that. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying I can understand it. But I think at the end of the day that it's gonna have to be a compromise. I know you both said you don't want to do the hyphenated last name. That may have to be the compromise. But now here's the difference from what you were saying and what Shorty's saying. She's talking about, I want my family's name to live along. So if the name is Smith, basically she's saying, not only do I not want to take your name, I want my kids to take on my family's name. So like you said, you wouldn't name your kids Acre Black. But she's saying, not only do I not want to take the name, I want my kids to now have my father's name, which is, you know, these are one of those, like, you know, crazy positions where you're just stuck. So it's one of those times where you got to go into a lot of prayer about it.
And at the end of the day, should this name thing really come between you and the love of your life?
It's a hard question. You know, we all have certain beliefs. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I can't sit here and say your Christian belief is any less than someone else's belief.
And you know what?
But at the end of the day, if you're a Christian and this guy is saying, well, I'm not a Christian and I'm not going to go to church, somebody could say, well, you going to let this church thing come between you and the love of your life? And it's like, well, if you feel that strongly about it, then I think those are the things that you got to do. You got to weigh it. You got to weigh it, because 9 times out of 10, any dude that you meet or want to get married to is going to want you to take their last name. You know, now maybe they'll buck on a hyphenation, but you're not bucking on a hyphenation. You know, so it's not like this is just as simple as, oh, this is just this dude who's
tripping. There is a compromise. She can use it as her middle name. She could still use it as her middle name. Or get him to do the hyphenation.
Right. I mean,
you know.
But again, it's going on to the kids then.
Yeah, see, that's interesting, because my best friend, she kept her last name. Her husband has his last name. And I'm always very confused on what's going to be the last name of their 2 daughters. Right. You know, it's just very confusing. But it works for them. Right. He was very okay with it, but
I just think you really have to understand and get, and like I said her father just passed away. So I don't know if it's because it's a newly wound or, you know, when you just feel like, yo, I got to hold my father down, you know. And I definitely I salute that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely respect that. But it's just moving forward. You got some thinking to do, because like I said, this isn't just going to end with him. You know what I'm saying? I know chicks who aren't married to their child's father and the child has the father's last name. You know, so this is a, like I said, that's a, you got to pray about it. You got to really think about it and weigh your options of, okay, like you said, is this worth not just giving up this dude?
Is this the deal breaker? But any dude.
Almost any dude. Because I think any dude is going to want their child to have their last name. So, you know, I'm sorry about the passing and everything.
And then it's unfair. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of unfair in being so stubborn in one thing. Because you can't function in a marriage like that.
Yeah, so but like I said, to me, it's just welcome to the wonderful world of being married and compromise. Where 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna get your way. So this is where the compromise starts at. I don't know if you find another way to, you know, keep your family's name alive. I don't know what you do. I have no answers, because I really honestly can't see a dude being like, okay, my child doesn't have my last name. So I don't know. I don't know if that's you saying, hey, I'm not going to get married. I'm going to just adopt. I can name the kid whatever I want.
I don't know.
Again, it goes back to how strongly you feel about this. I can't tell you. We can't tell you how strongly you feel about something. Maybe you feel that strongly that you like, look, I'm going to adopt and then I'll get married. You got to figure that out for yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to figure that out for yourself. But prayerfully, Roz's story being almost so identical to yours kind of helps. And, you know, just keep it moving like that. So prayerfully, you know, we gave you some type of good advice.
And again, sorry about your loss.
Yeah. So Marriage Exposed. I'm your man, Kil.
And I'm Dr. Roz.
Keep it locked.